Woo! Let's do a little more. Listen to that induction noise. Woo! I like those downshifts too, you hear that? Oh! Hello everyone, my name is Kurt. You're watching Eat, Sleep, Drive, and this episode is all about me traveling to hopefully go buy a Lexus ISF. I've been in selling mode recently. I've sold my E90 M3, I sold my Evo 9, and now it's time to buy a new daily driver. And I think the ISF is such a cool, unique car that they really didn't make too many of. Now, it's a 2010 model. I'm gonna give you guys all the details all along the way, but I'm gonna hop on a bus and head to the airport to get a rental car and get on my way to Knoxville, Tennessee. Usually when I go on trips like this, I get the cheapest car available. But for some reason this time the sports car option was only $10 more, so I sprung for that. What do you think I'll get? Charger? Mustang? Camaro? All right, rental spec Mustang. It's a convertible, so we might as well use it as such, huh? How does this even work? There we go. Top down. Let's go on a journey. 4-cylinder Mustang. It's a weird feeling. It's pretty poor, I gotta be honest. Here is where I found the ISF on Facebook Marketplace. As much as I dislike Facebook, unfortunately all cars are pretty much on Facebook now. This car has 134,000 miles, which really isn't too much for an ISF. These engines are known to go for a very long time. What drew me to this car is the fact that it's under 20 grand, but it's also a 2010. If you're familiar with these cars, in 2010, it was the first year they got a mechanical locking differential, and that is quite desirable, and typically the 2010 pluses are more expensive. So that's what drew me to this car, and for 18 grand, even before I started negotiating, it was a heck of a price. Knoxville is a really easy 4-hour drive from where I live. And if for some reason you're curious, I did a quick review of the 4-cylinder Mustang, which you can also find on my channel. But back to the ISF. I've always thought these cars were good looking, but when I finally saw it in the flesh with the updated 2010 wheels, I definitely fell in love. Well, here it is. This is now my ISF. Just went for a little test drive and looked around the vehicle. The previous owner was a really honest guy, so I'm super happy with everything that he described with the car. It's exactly pretty much as he said. Now, what I want to do here is go over this car, show you guys around it, give you a brief tour, and also show you guys why it was as cheap as it was, because you can't find a 2010 or newer ISF for under 20 grand without some issues. So we'll just start with those. The first and probably biggest thing is this front bumper. Somebody apparently backed into it. It looks like a hitch maybe. It's like almost exactly the shape of a hitch, but the hitch dug into the bumper, and obviously that's going to have to be replaced. That doesn't really look repairable, so I'll have to get a new front fascia, which isn't the end of the world. The next thing is every single one of these wheels is curbed. Apparently this was the original owner who did all this. I mean, that's what everyone says, right? No one wants to take credit for that, but it looks like they curbed every single wheel. So I'll have to get those refinished, or maybe I'll just buy an aftermarket set of wheels. I do really love the way these wheels look though, so I'm probably more inclined to get them refinished. The rest of the car though, outside of a faded spoiler, which I may just upgrade to like one of those duckbill ones because I really like those on these cars. Look at these quad exhausts. Even though these quad exhausts are fake, they at least look really cool. Other than that, I mean, it's free of any like major dings or dents or scrapes or anything like that. The car has 134,000 miles, but when you drive it, it's just remarkable. It doesn't feel anything like that. It could easily pass for a car with 34,000 miles. Look at the interior. The leather is wearing super well, hardly anywhere. And you know where there's like pretty much nowhere at all? Is this steering wheel. How do I make this stop? Okay, stop. Stop beeping at me. Look at this steering wheel. It shows virtually no wear at all. Remember the GTR that I drove where the paddles were all messed up and stuff? Typical Nissan stuff, not here in this Toyota Lexus. Really love this blue touch here with the steering wheel on the bottom. Everything is holding up so well. I can't wait to take you guys for a drive. That's what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna pop the hood just to show you guys the engine. Here is the beating heart of the ISF. This is a 5-liter V8, and it's coupled to an 8-speed transmission, which is pretty nuts back in 2008 when these came out. But the big thing with these is there is a common issue called a valley plate leak, and that's the valley plate way down in the V of the V8 engine. It leaks coolant and you get coolant buildup, and then obviously that's bad news bears. Fortunately, I took off the engine cover and was looking around. I don't see any signs of leaking coolant in that valley plate. So I think I'm good there. I think I've avoided buying a car with probably the only main issue that ISFs have. So I couldn't be more happy. Let's take this thing for a spin because I want to get on this for the first time. All right, here we go. About to get on the highway, about to rip it for the first time. I'm gonna let some cars pass. Let's get over this hump here. Ooh! Got this Tahoe really quickly. Let's do it a little more. Listen to that induction noise. This car is fast, dude. Holy cow. All right. All right. Woo! I like those downshifts too. You hear that? Oh! All right. Let me put it in automatic for a minute. This engine, over 4,000 RPM, there's like almost this VTEC cutover type feeling, and the induction note changes, and then you get just a whole bunch of noise, induction noise in the cabin. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. I love it, love it, love it. I could go for a little more exhaust noise because I had my window down earlier and I could barely hear the exhaust. So the good news about that is you can obviously change an exhaust, which I will, and you guys will see in the short term here. What's amazing to me is two things. Number one, this feels like it could be a brand new car. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not exaggerating. Like, if you drove this right now, it feels like any new Lexus. That's the part that's unbelievable to me. 134,000 miles on it. You just don't get that in many other cars other than a Toyota Lexus. I'm just genuinely blown away. It drives so well. And then the other thing that's kind of remarkable is that they still are using this engine, and it's basically the same engine that's in the LC500. Granted, it's been modified slightly for a little more power and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm so happy that they're still making this engine because it's a lovely, lovely engine. As I mentioned, there's really only one slight problem that these have where they leak a little bit of coolant in the valley, but once you address that, these things are known to go for well over 200,000 miles, which is remarkable for, you know, a V8 engine, 5-liter that makes over 400 horsepower, revs past 7,000 RPM. I'm so excited to drive this car home, and I'm so excited to own it, and I'm so glad it's not a lemon. That's the biggest thing. But I'm gonna try and track some miles because it's already 5 o'clock and I still have about a 4-hour drive to go. Well, Well, the trip back is going very, very smoothly. I am covering ground at a pretty quick pace, and this car just makes it so easy. In many ways, it feels German in that regard. German cars, to me, every time I drive one, they just have this sense of not just presence, but also just heft and solidity, especially at speed. You know, when you do triple digits in a German car, it doesn't really stress it. And that's exactly what this car feels like. You know, I'm gonna do another video as far as specifically why I chose the ISF over the M3. And it's not to say one's better than the other, it's just that the ISF fits my needs more. And that's what people need to keep in mind, because everyone's always trying to pit one car against the other, which one's better, this car is better. Like, you can't factually really say any of that. It's just one car is better for one person. But one thing I do want to bring up, you know, before that video and everything, is the thing I love about these is how few of them you see on the road. They really didn't make too many ISFs. I think around 5,000, maybe a little less, and certainly a very low amount after 2010 plus. They made a ton in 2008, but the group that made this car, it was like a after-hours pet project for these engineers that were performance driven, and they wanted to inject some life into the Lexus brand. So you read stories about the group that made this car working after hours, doing it more for fun, and it's just so cool that they've created a whole nother sub part of the Lexus brand with the F lineup. You can feel the passion in the car. You can feel that they wanted it to be fun, and they did such a good job achieving that. The rest of my trip went off without any issues, and maybe most importantly, without any tickets. Well, as you can see, I made it back safely. Actually parked right by my Land Cruiser, kind of Lexus Toyota matching vehicles at this point. On-road, off-road, it's a lovely, lovely combination. No surprise, reliable. Lexus was reliable, but I'm super glad to have purchased this car. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more from this car. The first thing I'm going to do is modify this exhaust because it needs to be louder. I want to hear that 5-liter V8 sing, and we're going to do a bunch more mods on this car. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate you guys watching as always. Eat, Sleep, Drive TV on Instagram. I'll see you on the next one.